Hey, what is happening, guys? What is going on? Thank you for tuning into Rules for Rebels. I wanted to talk about solopreneurship today, and also kind of solopreneurship versus entrepreneurship, and really, is there any difference? And this is going to be kind of more of a vlog-style video, just kind of me rambling. This is kind of me thinking out loud. But I definitely know I definitely want to know what you think about this subject as well. Like, how do you define a solopreneur, and how do you define an entrepreneur? Please go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts on one versus the other are, how they differentiate, etc. So I went and had dinner with my folks tonight, and as I was driving home, I was watching some YouTube videos, or listening to some YouTube videos, and I watched two videos. The first one was by a YouTube channel called Entrepreneurs in Cars, and the title of the video was Employee versus Solopreneur versus Entrepreneur. And the second video I watched was an Ask Gary Vee video, obviously by Gary Vee. Episode 105, Solopreneurs edition. And in both these videos, they were talking about solopreneurship. And I don't really even know what caused me to kind of look this up on YouTube and watch some videos on it. I see a lot of people on like Reddit and business forums like really having like big circle jerk discussions about, well, you're not technically an entrepreneur, you're a solopreneur, and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not a solopreneur. And people are like really playing semantics with these words. And really at the end of the day, it's like, who gives a shit? If you have time to play semantics with what you're going to call yourself, you're probably not busy enough with your business, and you're probably not concerned enough with your business. You know, I sometimes kind of get annoyed by these kind of circle jerk discussions where people on Reddit are like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, and when I'm at parties and people ask me what I do, I don't really know what I should tell them. What I do is really complicated. It's like, nobody gives a shit what you do. Like, if you have that much time to think about how you describe your profession, you're really way too much into the kind of vanity circle jerking part of entrepreneurship, and you should probably be spending more time on your business. But anyhow, for whatever reason, I searched these terms, and in the first video, Entrepreneurs in Cars was kind of talking about, he almost talked about solopreneurship like it was almost a derogatory term. He kind of compared and kind of used the terms interchangeably, solopreneur as well as wantrepreneur. And when I hear wantrepreneur, I think of somebody who's either not having success in entrepreneurship, or someone who's throwing out little like half-ass attempts at entrepreneurship and really not giving it their all, really not committing themselves, really not giving it a serious go. And so that a little bit kind of turned me off hearing those terms kind of used interchangeably. And he kind of talked about kind of what his stance, and he does business coaching and entrepreneurship coaching and things like that. And I definitely agreed with what he said. His message was basically like, a startup can be a solopreneur operation. You can either be working by yourself, or a lot of times you have the founder, the guy with the idea, who hires on like a best friend or a family member to help them kind of get that business off the ground. And he kind of goes on to say that solopreneurs really shouldn't be solopreneurs for more than a year, maybe 2 years max. He said at that year or 2 year mark, what your goal should be is to really kind of use leverage to really grow the business into something bigger. Now, in business, there's generally two ways to apply leverage. One is money, if you're in a business where money makes money, and another one is having employees. And he kind of went on to talk about how, as an entrepreneur, you're the IT guy, you're the housekeeper, you're the customer service guy. You know, you're literally everything, and it is so true. Earlier today, I was sitting in my office, and I got shit all around me, right? I got Dunkin' Donuts cups, I got Gatorade bottles, I got my lunch for the past week and a half. And occasionally I will go through and kind of clean up my area and like organize all my packing supplies and everything else. But like literally as a solopreneur, I'm doing everything, right? Like I'm vacuuming the office. If we have problems with the internet, I'm the IT guy. Me and my business partner, a couple months ago actually, our modem or router, whatever it is, went out. And ever since we've been hardwiring, and it's not a huge deal, but it's something that probably should get taken care of. And that's one of those things where like if you're working for a company and something goes out, like, oh, call Bill over in IT. He'll come get you a new laptop or fix this or fix that. And when you're an entrepreneur, everything falls on your shoulders. So without having employees, without having leverage, it is hard to grow a business because I'm having to pick up my floor, right? I'm having to deal with the new modem. I'm having to deal with customer service issues. I'm having to pick orders. I'm having to pack orders. I'm having to do the copywriting for the website. I'm having to do our email marketing. Like, you're literally doing everything. And so sometimes it can be hard to either have the time or effort or energy or foresight to do the things that you need to do the bigger picture things to grow the business when you're focusing on all these kind of minute details. And so anyhow, what Entrepreneurs in Cars was kind of saying is like, look, at some point you got to piss or get off the pot. You either grow the business to something much larger or go back to being an employee, is essentially what his message was. And he talks about being a 1 out of 10. He said only 1 out of 10 businesses actually does over $1 million a year in sales. The rest are, doing more small-time things. 9 out of 10 businesses aren't doing over $1 million a year in sales. He talks about, as a solo entrepreneur, you're like, yeah, you can probably have a good life, make yourself 70 grand a year, 90 grand a year, but you're not going to grow it and scale it to that big level. And his message is almost like, look, if you're not going to take it to the next level, go back to being an employee. And he didn't really seem to act like there was room for quote-unquote solo entrepreneurs. So fast forward, and I may wind up dropping in some clips from both these videos into this video. Maybe I'll be lazy and I won't feel like editing it. I'm not quite sure right now. But I do plan on doing a kind of a more in-depth video on this subject. Now, I definitely welcome your guys' comments and stuff. I kind of want to get some different concepts, some different ideas from entrepreneurs like you guys. So I will be doing a more in-depth video. Maybe I'll save the clips for that one, but I might drop some clips into here. Anyhow, fast forward, I go and watch the Gary Vee video, and somebody basically asked him, it was something about like solopreneurship. What do you think of it? Blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And basically, Gary Vee had a much different message, and I kind of enjoyed Gary Vee's message. And basically what Gary Vee said is like, look, a lot of time, not all the time, but a lot of times people who are solopreneurs and running that type of business, they're very passionate about their business. So if I have something that's especially like a personal brand or something like that, but if I have some business that's kind of a passion project and I'm very picky about how things get done and everything has to be perfect, I may not want somebody else. Even if somebody's trying to help me, I may be the type of person who's like, it's almost more work having to train you on how I want it done than if I were to just do it myself. Or a lot of times people who are solopreneurs, and again, very passionate about their businesses, it's almost like nobody else can get my vision, so I don't really want anybody else to be a part of this. And Gary Vee kind of talked about, what did he say? He basically said something to the effect of, if you're a solopreneur making, I don't know, $70,000 a year, $90,000 a year, but you're an introvert, you're not a great manager, you're very particular, you want a certain type of lifestyle, you're kind of trying to build the type of lifestyle that you want. Like, sure, by hiring some employees and spending some more money and managing people, like, sure, yeah, you might be able to grow that business from $70,000 a year to $130,000 a year, but at what cost? You're going to be doing a whole lot of like micromanaging and managerial duties that maybe aren't really your thing to do. You're going to be doing a lot of tasks that you don't necessarily enjoy. I know me personally, like, I'm not huge on confrontation. I don't really like managing employees. I'm very particular about how I want things done. So for me to bring somebody on to work with me, in some sense, it would be bringing on, I don't know, right now I work for myself. I work with my partner. He's good at his things. I'm good at my things. I kind of do the marketing and the customer service and the sales. He kind of does more of the accounting and legal and licensing and all that type of stuff. And we each kind of have our own thing. Not that we don't listen to the other ones, but like, I'm kind of in charge of my stuff. He's kind of in charge of his stuff. I kind of do my things my way. He kind of does his things his way. And it really works out well. I'm really happy with our arrangement. I'm really happy with how things are going. I'm really happy with the business. But if I were to start bringing in employees and things like that, I don't like managing people. So now my entire day is doing something that I don't enjoy doing, managing people. Whereas before, maybe I'm making a little bit of less money, but like, I like going into work every day. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm happy. It's not stressful. And so basically what Gary Vee's message was is, sometimes it may be worth leveraging your business and bringing on employees or growing it into something larger, and it may be a lot more money, and for that amount of money it may be worth it. But other times, leveraging your business may not bring in a ton more money, but it's going to bring in a whole lot more aggravation. It's going to change your life. It's going to change the way that you do things. And so his message was kind of, do you. If you're happy being a solopreneur, you're making an amount of money that you're happy with, etc., be content with it, and it may not be worth growing your business. And going back to the first example, here's where I was kind of torn. Is by the time I got done watching Solo Entrepreneurs or Solo Car Entrepreneurs video, whatever the hell it was, I was almost thinking, like, am I not leveraging myself? And in the examples he gave, he was saying, like, most of these businesses are making like less than $100,000 a year. Most of these businesses aren't doing $1 million in sales. So even though in a sense with my business I built myself a job and not a business, like, I can't go take off to Croatia jet setting for, 2 months at a time. Like, I have to be in the office because I don't have employees. But I don't really mind what I'm doing. If I want to get away for a couple days or even a week or 2 weeks, I have a business partner to kind of hold down the fort until I get back. So I've carved out a pretty good life for myself. But when I was looking at, like, am I a wantrepreneur? Am I a solopreneur? Am I a joke? I think last year our business netted about $330,000. Past probably 3 or 4 years, we've been doing over $3 million a year in sales. So numbers-wise, the business is much bigger than what he's referring to as solopreneurs. Numbers-wise, we're one of those 1 out of 10 businesses. We're not one of the 9. We're 1 out of the 10 businesses doing over $1 million a year in sales, and actually doing a 3 times multiple of that. So numbers-wise, my business is above the solopreneur. But in terms of, like, using that leverage and things like that, I don't have employees. I am responsible for all the tasks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anyhow, I just thought it was kind of a fascinating discussion. Like I said, I normally don't really get into, like, am I a solopreneur, a wantrepreneur, or an entrepreneur? And, let's sit around here and play semantics with these terms. But it is kind of interesting. A lot of times when I think about solopreneurship, I think about, like, this is going to sound kind of negative. A lot of times I think about, actually not even, I was going to say I think about, like, print-on-demand t-shirt businesses, drop shipping businesses, and things like that. But I personally view those more as hustles and businesses. I think there's limited upside. I think you have limited control over the business. I don't think it's incredibly scalable. So those things I think is more like little side hustles more so than businesses. Not that they couldn't be grown into something larger, but then them in themselves I don't really think as being full-scale businesses. But I guess examples of a solopreneur would be if you have a social, like a boutique social media marketing agency. That's something that you can do as a one-man crew, use automation and softwares and things like that to kind of leverage your efforts. Maybe content writing, consulting, coaching, a personal brand, even e-commerce. These can all be solopreneur tasks. A lot of other things, when you want to grow it bigger, you got to start bringing on employees and things like that. But I'm really curious to hear kind of what you guys think about this. For those of you guys that run businesses, do you consider yourself a solopreneur or an entrepreneur? How do you define a solopreneur, and how do you define an entrepreneur? Do you think you're limiting yourself by being a solopreneur as opposed to an entrepreneur, if you even really categorize them that way? But yeah, anyhow, like I said, this is just kind of a rambling video. I really want to know what you guys think. I'll probably do this is kind of a topic that it has kind of intrigued me, so I might dig into it a little bit more and maybe make a video kind of diving in a little bit deeper, sharing some opinions of some other entrepreneurs and things like that. But I really want to know what you guys think. Drop your comment in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed, I'm really grinding it out trying to get to that 100,000 subscribers. Please click that subscribe button to either the bottom left or bottom right of the video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.